Greetings from the World Wide Web. I'm your pilot and host, Luscious Luke, broadcasting from my garage in freezing cold Central Arkansas in partnership with the good folks at Force RC. Today we have another unboxing, and I'm excited about this one because I absolutely love biplanes. Yes, it's an FMS biplane. Without further ado, let's roll it in. Ta-da! This is the HS123. It's a German biplane. Das gut, ja? Just a few specs about this thing. It is 1,030 millimeters. That is just over 40 inches. It's a small one. It's not real enormous. Don't panic, guys. When I pulled the cardboard off of this thing, I saw the PT117 and I said, oh no, they sent me the wrong one. Don't panic. The right one is in the box. FMS wisely uses multi-purpose packaging, so they share boxes with some of the other models. Again, don't panic. So 40-inch approximately wingspan on this thing. They do recommend a 3-cell. This takes about an 1,800 milliamp hour 3-cell. Only one color choice on this thing. It stands true with the German color schemes. So you could probably get away, depending on the size of the fuselage, you should be able to get away with a little bit bigger pack. So feel free to experiment. Typically when it comes to biplanes, you're gonna have a little bit more lift at full throttle speed. So I prefer a little bit of extra nose weight when it comes to my biplanes. You can always mix in a little bit of throttle and elevator mix for those of you who have programmable remotes. So if you notice that it's doing some weird things under low, medium, and high throttles, feel free to play around with a little bit of a mix. We're gonna find out if this thing does that. I'm hoping it doesn't. Let's go ahead and tear into this thing, guys. This has a brushless outrunner, just like you've come to expect with all the new FMS style planes. This is not a new plane. They've had this one for a while, but it is still in development. And I highly recommend that if you guys are considering this plane, before they discontinue it, go ahead and pick one up from Force RC. They still have some of these in stock. This is a very nice plane, and I can only imagine it's not going to stick around for long. So let's take a look at what's in the box. Here it is, guys, all nicely packaged in the box. Let's rip it open. First thing out of the box, your standard FMS manual. Don't throw this away, guys. I know with FMS, their planes and models are really easy to put together, so you probably don't need about 90% of this. However, with this plane, because it's a biplane, I definitely recommend following their dual rate and expo recommendations, simply because you've got 4 ailerons in this thing. You don't want to overdo the travel on this, and be sure to program a little bit of expo. Second thing out of the box. This is cool. Man, I love the gray color that they used on this thing. This is one of their older models. It's not the new paint technology or the foam technology, but for being an older model, still looks excellent. They did a really good job on the lack of alligatoring. That's one thing I don't enjoy about foam planes, is the alligatoring that sometimes happens with these. But this one's really nice and smooth. The colors have good contrast to them. They used a nice bright yellow. They used crisp, clear whites, blacks on there. It does have a brushless outrunner on it. It's one of their standard motors. Don't worry, there will be a nose cone on here. Let's go ahead and remove your battery hatch. Kind of a engineering feat here. Doesn't look like there's a whole gob of room in this thing, so I'm sure there are recommendations of an 1,800 milliamp hour battery will probably be adequate for this thing. It's very, very light, so you're not going to need a whole bunch of battery to get this thing moving around and to last you for a good amount of time. Let's see if we could get down into this ESC here so you guys can kind of see that. Let's see here. No, it's going to be a little bit difficult. Nonetheless, it's an FMS ESC. It's a 40 amp, and I believe this is good for, let me check the rating here. 2 to 4 cell lipos. So this is compatible with 4 cell. If you decide to go with a 4 cell instead of the recommended 3 cell, be sure to pay attention to the heat of the motor. Don't overheat this thing, guys. And most likely you're probably going to need to prop down a bit. So I'd actually recommend that you stick with what they suggest on this plane. They also give you a standard battery adapter. This is a Dean's connection to the very common EC3. They do give you Dean's on that end. So feel free to use that connector. You can always swap them out if you so choose. My personal plug of choice is the XT60. There is a steerable tail wheel on this thing. Nice wheel pants here. These are the older style. These are not ball end links, but they're still very positive. They have your rubber retainers on there to keep them all nice and tight. Set that aside. Next thing out of the box, here's one of your wings. They are all pre-installed into the wings. The servos are all pre-installed in here. You've got your aileron surfaces here. Be able to run it up through the fuselage. Everything comes out the center hole right here. Very nice. Nice and smooth too. This definitely matches the fuselage. There's very little alligatoring on this. Here's your top wing, it appears. Nice contrasting colors. Again, servos pre-installed. I believe these are digital metal gears. Sorry, no, they're analog, but they're still very, very nice. One thing I've noticed on here, guys, let me take a quick look. Count the number of servos you see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me tell you why that's cool. It's not too often that you see biplanes, especially of this size, with 4 servos, 4 individual aileron servos. Here's why that's cool. If you're a little bit into programming, I know with the Spectrum radios, they make it real easy and real simple to do this kind of programming. What you can choose is if you get a larger or more, a higher channel count receiver, you can program these to be individual inputs, meaning upon landing, if you so choose to slow down a little bit more, you could use your bottom set of ailerons as flaps and still maintain control with your top ailerons. So I think that's actually what I'm going to do with this. I love flaps. I love adding flaps even to planes that don't necessarily need them. But because you've got 4 servos on here, you'll be able to do that if you so choose. Otherwise, you can also use them. You can put a Y harness and put any type of gyro that you so choose. So that's pretty cool. You don't see those too often. Normally you see biplanes with 2 servos, usually on the bottom wing, and they'll have linkages that go from top to bottom. Kind of cool idea. Let's rip this thing out. Here is your nose cone. Bright, bright yellow. It does screw on. There's 2 little screw holes there. Nice engine detailing here. Really cool, I like that. Next out of the box, set of landing gear. These look really positive, guys. I'm not used to seeing landing gear this beefy on a biplane. They've got the integrated wheel pants, and it appears that there's 4 screw holes that hold that onto the bottom of the fuselage. You've got your various tanks in the bottom here. Those have some nice brackets already installed. Everything's color matched. It appears that they have some little stabs here. I'm assuming those will just stab right up into the foam. You'll probably read your instructions, guys, because it'll probably require a little bit of glue on there. I've had some pretty good luck using hot glue. If you're just using a little bit, you really don't want to glob it on there with hot glue because it does alligator the foam a little bit. But for things that don't show, I found hot glue seems to be a little bit more forgiving than CA glue. So try out some hot glue, and it will also absorb some of the shock because the glue, when it dries, is a little bit rubbery. So your chances of pieces cracking and falling off like this, slim to none. Here are your 2 elevators. Doesn't appear to have a carbon rod in this one, guys. These are small enough, they may not need the reinforcement, so those will go on the tail section. Does come with your standard prop and a color match prop nut. Let's see. Very nice. It looks like these are some finishing decals, it appears. So once you get everything put together, I believe it's probably to cover up some of the servo wires and things like that to make it nice and color matched. Those will go on at the end. Here's some more detail pieces. This appears to be a hardware bag. You've got a pilot in there. These are your wing struts that will hold the top and bottom wings together. Everything is in there. A lot of parts and pieces with this thing. I'm not used to that. Looks like some bombs here. These ones do appear to have little slip connectors, so I don't believe you'll have to glue these ones on. They should just slide on, pop on and off, so you can choose whether or not you want to keep those on while flying. That looks like it's it, guys. It looks like it's going to be a pretty straightforward installation. I don't anticipate this taking too long, probably an hour or so. Everything looks like it screws, bolts, and glues together, not too involved. There's a few more pieces in this model than I'm normally used to, but this is one of their older models, so that's how they used to do things. So we're going to get this thing together, take it out, and give it a good shot. If you guys are interested in picking up one of the FMS HS123s, be sure to head on down to forcerc.com and pick up yours today. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm your pilot and host, Luscious Luke, signing off.